Now we have the page head in place and we can go for the rest of the part. What I realized here is that the margins from the edge to the text should be larger when we go to the bigger screen. So because it's much narrower here. And I scroll to this part because here we set up that with the padding. So what we can do now is that I will copy this one and just paste it down at the bottom here. Maybe we should keep that close to the wrapper because we use the wrapper there also. And then we need to go to maybe 3ems. Is that better? Much better. Okay, that was that. But now I realized the following also. We weren't fully done with this one because we also need this one to move in 3ems. So we need to, here when we add the padding, we need to add 3ems. And if everything is right line, this will actually be enough. But for make it a little bit more complete, I will also add 3ems on the other side. Save. So now it moved in. So now this will align with the text down here and everything is okay. So let's move this one to the center. And if we do an inspection on this one, we can, maybe I should break this one out in the window. We can see that this one has an aligned self of flex end. So we need to change that. But as it is only the button in this part, we need to go for the experience class. So let's go for experience and class of button. And then we can say align self center and save. And now it's in the middle. So now we have also fixed that one. And we can continue down to this part because this part should go into 2 columns down here. And now we should have the team at the right edge. So what we need to do now is that we go for this part. So if we scroll down in the code, we can see that we are past the experience section and we are at the company info section. And here we have the part of staff list and the info box. And if we want these to go side by side, you probably know the answer by now. We use the flexbox. So let's go for company info. And we set up a display of flex. Oops, display of flex. And save. And now we get into this problem. But we can fix that, of course, because we want them to be 50-50 and we want to change the position. But we, first of all, how can we get them to be in the middle part? Well, what we can do is that we can maybe go for company and company info. And then we do the same as we did before. We select all the children and they should have a flex of. And now I'm going to set 0 at the first number. That means that they can't be bigger than this. And they can't be smaller than this. And then I set the flex basis to 50%. So now we have them both 50% in width. But we still have a problem, that is that the team should be after. So they should swap positions. And we can do that by using the order. So let's go for, and we have here, if we look at the, again, if we look at the code, we have the staff list and we can use that one because that is fairly unique. Staff list. And we can set the order on that one. And it is enough that we set it to 1 because by default they all have order 0. So now we have that one in place also. And the final thing we have to do is to fix the footer. And here I can see that we have a lot of padding down here that we need to remove. First of all, that is up in the wrapper. Because the wrapper we add, or did we put it? I need to scroll up here. Let's see. Wrapper. Page, head, menu. Wrapper. yes, it has a padding bottom. And why did we add this one? Well, because we wanted to be able to scroll the page so we can see the last part of the page. And here, and that was because we had a fixed menu at the bottom, and then we need to compensate for that. Now we don't have a fixed menu, so we need to remove the padding at the bottom. So we had the wrapper up here. Wrapper, we can say that it has a padding bottom of 0. And now we should, of course, add the same padding at the top. And I should spell this also correct. Padding. Now it's gone. But here we actually have the logo at the top here. So we can actually leave it as it is because the logo now goes under the menu and we don't need to handle that because it looks okay. So let's go back and fix this footer then. So let's go finally for the page foot. And again, we want this one to be in the same way as we did with the header, the page head. We want the page foot to, first of all, we want it to span the full width. So we set a margin of 0, and then we do a calculation and say that we want to have 50% minus 50 viewport width. And then we need to set it back with the padding to move in the inner content in this one. And we set the padding of, we had some padding maybe on the page foot. Let's see what we had here. Page foot. No, we had no padding on that one. No. Okay. So let's leave it like that, 0. And then we do a calc of 50 viewport width minus 50%. So we take it in the opposite order to get a positive value. Now, there is kind of nothing that has changed. And we need to inspect why. Why didn't this one the black go all the way to the edge? Well, if we do an inspection here again, we can see that the footer actually spans the full width. But we have some problems, and that is that the black we had before is not from the page footer. We add that to the wrapper, if I don't remember wrong. So we need to set this one to have a black background, and that we could probably have done to start with. But let's add it here. Now we have this one, and we do need some padding, top and bottom, maybe 1 get some spacing to this one. And now we want these two to go side by side instead. And you probably know that by now. We do it with a display : flex. And now they go side by side, but now we also need to, first of all, we need to change the order. And we need to also sort them. So again, we can go for page foot. And we had a class of links. And we can do the same as last time. We can set order : 1 and save. And now they have gone in that way. And then we also need to space them apart because they should go to the left edge and the right edge. If we go back here, you see that this one aligns with the left edge, this one aligns with the right edge. So let's go here and let's say that we should have a justify content, and we put all the space between the elements. And now we have them in the opposite corners. We do have a lot of air up here that we in some way need to remove. I guess it is the margin of the H4, probably. Let's see, we don't have anything there. It's all there. Yeah, okay. So let's go for that one also. Page foot, and it's a class still. And we had an H4, and it should have a margin of 0. And now we have the footer. So now we have everything in place. We do have one problem, I think, and that is that the page foot also needs some more margin at the edge here, because if this one goes narrower, then the text will go all the way to the edge, and that never looks good. So let's add 1 em here also, just to move it in slightly. It's probably enough with 0.5 em. Because then you get the feeling that it's kind of aligned with the edges, but you still have some space when you have a narrower screen. So now I think we have almost everything in place, and the page is kind of done.